Hello, everybody. It is Unbridled Freedom's second episode in Harmony and Hooves. This episode is called Variety. And just a recap on what Harmony and Hooves is all about. In this series, we are talking about the 6 basic needs that women or humans and horses share in common. And they're in a specific order because they're they're in the order of importance to a being feeling balanced and in harmony, safe and secure and comfortable. So today we're talking about variety. And women and horses need variety in our lives. First of all, we need certainty, right? We need to know that our basic needs are going to be met. We need to know that there's some consistency in our life. That's why we like routines. That's why horses like routines. Not only do we mentally and emotionally thrive on routines, we physically thrive on them as well. So after certainty comes variety. Because if we always stuck with the same routine and didn't have variety, we're going to be bored. And it's the same with horses. If horses have the same routine without any kind of a variety in it, they have a specific workout routine or a training routine, or they don't have anything other than they can count on getting their 2 meals a day, maybe turned out once in a while, and they've got their friends in their, general vicinity, but they have no variety. It creates for boredom. It can create some displaced behaviors. For humans, that can often look like binge watching TV, overeating, just doing shopping, just doing things that aren't really productive, but it gives us a variety. With horses, you can see displaced behaviors in, cribbing and weaving and fighting through the fence, or you can see them detached. So let's talk about how do we get variety in our life with horses. It's super important that we both have variety. So because we are the leader of the herd of 2 or more, for me it's a lot more than 2. But for some who have 1 horse, it's a herd of 2. And as the leader, it's up to you to create an environment where variety is put into the mix. So let's just start out with some of the basics. When we go to greet them and get them out of their enclosure, don't do the same thing all the time. Don't go in and just catch them right away. We've had this conversation in other episodes where I don't catch my horses. I get my horses to catch me. Sometimes they throw the variety into that scenario by not wanting to participate with me for that day or not. I have Dakota. I love her dearly, but she does not want to be caught. So she gives me variety every damn time I want to catch her to take her out to do something. But, don't just walk right up to them and catch them right away. Maybe you go up and love and rub on them. Maybe I love to play the peekaboo game, meaning I stand directly behind them where they can't see me unless they turn their head from one side to the other. And as they turn their head to that side to take a peek at me, I will move to the opposite side. So pretty soon they're like, "What are you doing back there? I can't see you." And they'll turn around and I'll be like, "Hey." And I'll go up and love and rub and scratch on them before I put the halter on them. That gives them a variety to being caught and taken out of their safe enclosure, their comfort zone. You can add variety by not always tying them up to the same place. Like I know a lot of facilities have the cross ties and some have hitching posts. I tend to not tie my horses up. I like to ground tie them or keep the rope over my arm. And sometimes if I'm at a trailhead, then of course they always get tied up to the trailer. But if I'm at a different facility or here on my ranch, I will groom them and saddle them up in a variety of different places, just adding variety. When I'm grooming, I don't always just groom them with the same brushes. If I have time or I'm spending what I call undemanding time, which is another way of putting variety into what we do with our horses, is I will rub and scratch them over their entire body. So there's a lot of reasons for doing this. First of all, it's a variety. It's not just your normal grooming. Second of all, I want to know, can I touch my horse on every inch of their body? And the only way that I get to do that and have them willingly accept that is by scratching and massaging and rubbing. Sometimes when I have a horse who hasn't been worked for a while and the day before we took a long ride or we did some exercising in the round pen or arena, I will get out my crock pot and get out some hand towels and get them all wet, wring them out most of the water, and then add some drops of lavender essential oil into that pot, and I'll get them warm like barber's cloths. And then I will go out and I'll massage my horses and get them relaxed, and then I'll put those warm towels along their spine and then put a dry beach towel over the top of that and just let them soak in that warmth. The lavender oil takes out inflammation and bacteria, and it's an analgesic. It's got sedative powers. It's just very, very calming. If you've never done it to yourself, do it to yourself or have somebody do it to you. I will often take a warm, moist cloth with lavender oil and put it on my tight shoulders and just soak in that. And just, it's so relaxing. So that's a variety of grooming for your horses. When I'm looking at my notes here to make sure that I cover everything I want to. Let's go back to the fact of why do horses thrive on variety? Well, horses are curious and playful by nature. So when we can add variety into our interactions with them, we get them intrigued, we get them engaged, they get excited to be with us. And in order to be able to do that, we have to be willing to awaken our imagination and be creative. And so a way to add some variety into your horse's life and your life is I will often walk my horses around the ranch, or if I'm at other facilities, I will walk them around the facilities looking for things there that maybe they don't normally see. And I will get focused on it because now we're working on our partnership while we're adding variety in there. I will get focused and we will walk as a partnership. I'm not walking in front of them. They're not lagging behind me. We are walking shoulder to shoulder, enjoying the time together. And I will focus on an object and I will get 4 or 5 feet away from them. So I never hold my horses by their clip or their snap. I always have at least 2 to 3 feet in that belly of rope between me and them, because I want them to be my partner and not be controlled. But when I'm playing this game, I will be like 4 to 5 feet away, and I will focus on the object that I'm looking at, and I will direct them there with my energy. And when I get close, I will slow down, and when I'm right at it, I will stop and wait for them to figure out what object it is by touching it with their nose. It's kind of like we all played that game. I hope we all played that game growing up. You're getting hot, you're getting cold. So I play it with the horses all the time, especially the babies, trying to teach them to follow the power of my focus and my feel. So playing that game is so much fun. And if you really let them know that they did an awesome job when they found it, I'm often have treats with me. I'll give them a treat and go, yes, right on. So then they're really engaged in playing the game. So play games with your horses. If you don't have a lot of objects at the ranch, go get some. I like hula hoops, umbrellas, balls, cones, barrels, stuffed animals, old pair of Levi jeans, just whatever you can think of, tarps, so that you can get them to start exploring. Another thing that I really like to do, I am fortunate enough that my ranch backs up to a mountain. And so we have tons of sagebrush and deer trails behind me. I do this again with the babies as they're in the training program and getting ready to learn how to go trail riding. But I also do it with my herd. When I don't have time to ride, there's some of them here that I don't ride. I like to go for a trail walk. All of us love to go for trail rides, right? We get on our horse and off we go. I like taking them for a trail walk. And on that walk, we're in the single track trail, right? So they have to learn to follow behind me, not ride on top of me. And I will switch positions. So now they're leading the way. I have the lead rope usually going along their left side, just happens to be. And I'm behind them. And they're leading the way. And they're picking the deer paths. And it just gives them the opportunity to really open their mind and pay attention and watch the trail and get to explore without having to carry me. And it's really fun to do with horses who haven't learned how to trail ride yet, because we all just assume that horses know how to trail ride. Well, they don't. They haven't been taught. They haven't grown up on trails. They don't know to watch where they're going, and they don't know that when we put them on a single track trail, it means stay on there until we ask them to go elsewhere. So by playing those games on trail walks, it gets them thinking that way. It expands their mind. It makes them curious. It gives them confidence being outside and being in charge of their feet and their safety. And it's just fun. It's good exercise for me. It's good exercise for them. It's fun. I have, I'm more focused on just the two of us when I'm doing that, and we go and explore things. They smell something, they want to check something out, we go explore it. So that's a lot of fun to do. There's some fun ways to bring variety to exercising your horse, or working on the partnership and the communication, or helping your horse learn how to carry themselves correctly, helping you learn how to carry yourself correctly on your horse. The balance is important, so we don't give them kissing spine and sway back and all of that. So I love to put poles on the ground, make L's so we can back through the L, we can go forward, we can side pass through the L, rotate on the hindquarters, and then side pass on the inside of the poles of the L. Cones, cones can be so much fun, and there's so many different things you can do with them. Patterns, there's so many different patterns that you can do on your horse and off your horse, playing on the ground. So if you don't know some of the fun patterns you can do, drop me a message in the comments. I want to know more about patterns, and I will share some really fun patterns that I love to do with my horses and that I love to teach my students how to do. We talked about the grooming session. Whenever you're introducing something new to your horse, that's, adding variety into your life. And it's not just about it being fun for your horses, you guys. It's about being fun for you. I look at variety in my relationship with my horses as a way of engaging and having lots of fun. So that my horse wants to be with me. So when I'm introducing, let's say, a new pattern, there's my internet says I'm having trouble, so I'm hoping that you guys are getting this. There's a pattern that I like to do that it's basically an X of cones on the ground. You start in the middle and you ride straight through 2 cones, and you pick the direction you're going. And once you leave those cones, if I leave at a walk, then I stay at a walk and I go around the entire X, and I pick which way I'm going to go back in across through the center. And once you enter your 2 cones back into the X, you have to go straight out the opposite cones. You can't go to the middle and then turn left or right. So you go in at the same gate. So I went out at a walk, I'm coming in at a walk. And when I go straight through, as I depart, I decide which direction I'm going. And I might depart at a trot or a canter. And when I'm out on that, now I'm doing a circle around the X. I am looking for my horse to be with me, not trying to go faster than I'm going, not trying to go slower than I'm going, not pulling or pushing, drifting towards the middle or pulling out towards the edge. I want to look for a nice, rhythmic, in partnership, nice circle around. And when I feel like they're really connected with me, then I'll drop back into that circle, back into the cone, back into the X. And I will, if they've done really good, I will go straight to the center and stop. And we're trying to stop dead in the center of that X. And when I'm teaching a horse how to do this, I'm 1, very patient, and 2, doing it at a walk. Because doing it at the walk is helping me to find my focus, feel, timing, and balance, helping them to find that with me. I am showing them at a walk what I am trying to achieve as a team. And when we add speed, we add our emotions of the horse and human. And it's going to be a little bit more ragged than it was at a walk. Or if we're doing it at a trot, we add a canter, it gets a little bit wonky before it gets it sorted out, unless you have an amazing partnership with your horse. I love to side pass over things. So it starts with a pole. or a board, and I love to line up barrels. And if the horse is tall enough, side pass them over the barrels, or side pass them. If I will even play with one barrel and get them to side pass halfway and stop. And then I'll either go back or I'll go the opposite way. So these are just a variety of different ways that I play with my horses, but at the same time, I'm working on trust, connection, and communication while making it fun for both of us. Because if we can't be fun with our horses and be fun for our horses, why would they want to be with us, you know? Let's talk about, how do you add variety on the trail? Well, gosh, trail riding there's variety there all the time. It's the weather, it's who's on the trail, it's what might have happened to the trail since you were there the last time. If it's a new trail, you don't really know what's ahead of you, so there's the variety right there. But oftentimes I will ride on trails that we ride on a lot, and especially when I'm teaching green horses how to be comfortable on the trail. So I will, if we're on a straight trail, or we're, doing a climb for quite a while and the trail's not weaving in and out of the forest a lot, it's just kind of a straight trail and it's not a, cliff on one side. I will be riding down the road, down the trail, and I will ask them to, we're walking straight, I'll ask them to walk with their hindquarters to the left a little bit, but keep their front on a straight line, and then do it the opposite way. Or I might ask them to step over to the left with their front a few steps, and then to the right to the front. So I just keep them engaged with me and keep them wondering, what's she going to do next? I will weave in and out of sagebrush on the side. So instead of just staying on the trail, I have a few girlfriends who love to do this with me, is we'll go off the trail and go cut our own trail and really get the horses engaged with paying attention to where we're going. Sometimes I will let them pick the trail, ready to kind of correct them if they're going to step into something that's not a good place to step. So you can add variety that way. Going to different trails in it, there and of itself, adds variety. Riding with different people adds a huge variety. So keep mixing it up, but be mindful of how you mix it up. You don't want to be extreme in adding a variety to your horses or to your relationship or what you're doing, because it could kick them too far, or you too far out of your comfort zone into a place of what I call panic zone, where there's too much anxiety being stirred up, and now it's no longer fun. It's not adventurous. It's not creating curiosity. It's creating anxiety. So make sure that you're mindful of how you're introducing these things. Things that are not good to put variety into is your feeding. We sometimes think that our animals get tired of eating the same thing. Not true. Yes, they like their treats. Yes, they like, grazing on fresh pastures, but adding variety to your horse's diet, a lot of variety is not good. That's where certainty and routine needs to stay. Moving your horses from pasture to pasture. I have 5 pastures here, and they all have their little herd within each one. And early on, when I came to this bigger area and had this many horses that I was responsible for, I thought it might be fun for them to kind of switch their pastures from time to time. Some of them are smaller than others. And I quickly learned that that is not the kind of variety that our horses are seeking. Their homes are their homes. Their pastures are their homes. And my herd didn't like it. It created more anxiety in the routine than it did variety. So that didn't work. I don't encourage that. Um, People who move their horses from barn to barn to barn, facility to facility, that is not the kind of variety that horses like. Again, it's their home. They have their community. It's like you and I. What comes to mind is people who are in the military or children who are raised in the military. They go from location to location, and it creates anxiety. It creates a disconnect and a sense of isolation. And it's not the kind of variety that we're talking about here at all. I mean, if you have to move them, that's one thing, but keep in mind that it's not something that they truly enjoy. Bringing variety and keeping variety in your relationship with your horse can create a great deal of happiness and excitement and joy and curiosity and confidence in each and in each other. So I would love to hear in the comments about how you bring variety into the relationship with your horse. How do you bring variety into your life? How do you feel about having variety in your life? And is there a balance? You know, I think for all of us, there's a different comfort of certainty and variety in our lives. Some people are happier with more variety than they are certainty. Some people are more happy and comfortable with more certainty in their life than variety. I, for one, I think I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I have things that I already bring variety into your relationship with your horse and into your horse's life, and add one or two that I mentioned today, or two that you think of that you're going to bring into your routine with your horses, and share it in the comment. Remember, this is a place where we all come together to learn and grow together. So sharing your thoughts and your ideas and your experiences really helps all of us to grow. All right, everybody. I super duper appreciate you tuning in to all of these episodes. And I love being on this journey with all of you guys. And I will see you next week for episode 3, which is significance. All right, everybody. Take care.